you all.
Sorry, that seemed like the best time to do that.
Perfect. That's perfect. All right, so here we go. All right, so we're going to be talking about this 3 secrets to add 6 figures to your business in the next 12 months. And for some of you, I mean, I love hearing about many of you and your success that you've had. You know, some of you, like what I'm going to share with you today, actually, you could add 6 figures to your business in a month. Some of you could even do it in less than 60 minutes with some of the strategies I'm going to share with you. But for all of the rest of you and any of those, like you definitely can use these strategies and add 6 figures to your business in the next 12 months. That's a for sure. So hopefully by the end of our talk and time together today, you're going to really believe that and you're going to see how that's possible. And I have a lot of people ask me, you know, how is it that you've been able to duplicate and generate, the revenue that I've made over and over again in different businesses. And I'm super excited to share that with all of you tonight. So the first secret that is key, which I heard already, I think it was Jane who received that award. Is it Jane? Like this was something you mentioned, and this is absolutely a huge part of being able to do that. And it is number one, understanding and knowing what your core genius is. And knowing this is what's going to lead to really rapid revenue. And I believe in business. There's 4 phases. The first 3 are going to be incorporated into what I'm going to be talking about tonight. And the first phase of business is establishing your brand and really building your foundation. And underneath that is this idea of a core genius, which we're going to get into. And then the next phase of business I see as marketing. We need to generate leads for the brand that we establish. And then the third phase is sales. We need to sell to the leads that we generate. And the fourth phase is scaling after you have those 3 core phases really operating well. But under the foundation, under this brand, it's super important that your brand is built around your core genius. And I define a core genius as, what did God create you to do? What's at your core? And what have you studied and become an expert at? What's your genius? And we put those 2 things together, it's your core genius. And when you are clear about what that is and you know what that is, and you are able to build your business and your brand, your messaging around that, you're going to stand out in the marketplace. If you don't have that clarity, you're going to blend in. When you know it, you're going to have a lot clearer focus. It's going to be a lot easier for you to be able to communicate, share your message, talk to people, attract your ideal clients. And it really is the thing that I can pick out really quickly. I feel like one of my core geniuses that I've been given is the ability to identify somebody else's. And, I'll share with you a quick story of this. I met this woman, Sam, and she was a mental health therapist, and she was working with 3 other therapists in her practice. And her job was to bring in leads for her business, for the practice. And as a mental health therapist, she was working extremely long hours, and she was exhausted by the end of the evening. And when her and I talked, she said that, she would be out talking about her business, going to networking events, actually going out and speaking, and not really seeing her business grow. And she was, feeling frustrated about that because she was in charge of the marketing. And so I asked her, Sam, what is it that, when you think about what your field and what you do as a mental health therapist, what is it that you do measurably better than others? Like, when you do it, when you work with a certain type of person, you get different results, maybe than what other therapists would get. And she immediately said that she knew that it was helping women with anxiety. She was seeing people that had, like, she was being invited, to speak and seeing people that had depression, grief. She would go to high schools and talk about suicide prevention. There was all different types of mental health that she was dealing with, but she knew that she was really gifted at actually putting an end to anxiety for women. And she said her colleagues, other therapists, would argue and say, you know what, you can't really put an end to that. You can only teach people how to cope with it. But she said, I know that I put an end to it. And so we started talking some more, and she shared with me that when we actually put together a signature talk for her, it was around putting an end to anxiety. She had never experienced the results that she had when she did that. She had the opportunity to speak in front of 100 women, And she was standing on stage. And of course, she had been out speaking, like I shared with you, and she was getting a lot of thank you, that was great information, but she wasn't getting a lot of clients. And when she really had the willingness to look at building her business around her core genius, everything changed. In fact, when I started talking to her about, well, why don't we just build your business around helping women with anxiety? Like, if that's the thing that you are really passionate about, and that's the thing that you can really make a change in, why don't you just build your business around that? And she said, well, in school, they teach us that we can't, help everybody. We have to, we can't choose who we help. We have to help everybody. And I said, well, this is your business. In this situation, you really can choose. You can pick who you want to help. And she had a hard time with that at first. She started, like laughing and looking at me strange and kind of dealing with this like limiting belief that isn't something that she would have the freedom to do. And as she started to kind of sit with it a little bit longer and really think about the power and the impact that she could have and the number of women that she could help, she started to like recognize that, yeah, maybe this is something that I can do. And she started to smile and she started to get excited about it. And usually when I help people find their core genius, that will usually happen. Either they start laughing, they start crying because for the first time they heard somebody articulate what they do in a certain way. And it really resonates with them, or they just start nodding their head up and down, yes, yes, yes. And so we started working together, and she decided, okay, I'm going to embrace this. I'm going to build my business, this core genius of mine around helping women with anxiety. And when I first started working with her, she was making about $3,000 a month, working really long hours, and she was really exhausted. And then we actually created a signature talk, and she went and did that talk. And in front of 100 women, she ended up having a table in the back of the room, and she had never experienced this before. She had a line of people waiting at the back of her table for her before she even got off stage. And I shared with her how you can like set up some times on a piece of paper in the back of the room for people to be able to sign up to have these sessions with you. And she had 18 sessions that she had put out on that paper. And by the time she walked back to the table, all 18 sessions were full. And she actually had 27 other women come up and ask to be on a waiting list to be able to speak to her. That was like almost half of the room that actually wanted to have a session with her and talk about working with her. That was a huge eye opener for her to recognize how many women in this world were dealing with anxiety and actually wanted to have an end to it. And her talk was so powerful, and her ability to speak from her core genius was so magnetic that she had that result. And from that night, she has had a waiting list for her business. She went from making $3,000 a month. Within 90 days, she was making over $10,000 a month. Now, I think it's been 3 years. She's now making over $500,000 a year as a result of this. And she was so successful that she had to actually create a whole brand around ending anxiety, Dare to End Anxiety, because she's one therapist. And so she had to create these on-demand courses and like really share her expertise. And I can't tell you how many times I run into people. In fact, and just since we're on the eWomen here, I was at an eWomen conference a couple of years ago, and I was sitting next to a woman just to show the power of this. And how, in helping you while you're thinking about this question, I'll share with you another brief story. And this is, I want you to think about how could you talk about your business in a way that really showed your true passion for what you do. I was sitting next to a woman at eWomen, and it just made me think of it while we were sitting here with a bunch of eWomen ladies. I turned to her and asked her, what do you do for your business? And she said that she had a business called Soul Fit, SOUL, Soul. And as we were talking, I said, well, what is that? And I thought maybe she had some kind of spiritual connection with fitness or something. And then she ended up sharing with me that, in some capacity, she helped women lose weight. I got that much, but it took like 20 minutes to get to that. And after that 20 minutes, I still did not really understand what she did. And I don't know if you've ever experienced that, where you talk to somebody and you're really like trying to really understand what they do, and you're quite not understanding it based on what they're sharing. And that was the experience I was having with her. She was like confused. And Samantha, who I was just talking about, when she would talk about what she did, she just kind of blended in with every other therapist. Like, she didn't stand out because she wasn't clear on what her core genius was. But this particular woman, Amanda, she was very confused about her ability to articulate what she did. So we went to lunch, and I asked her that same question I mentioned that I asked Samantha. What is it that you do that's measurably different, that when you do it, and this is a question you could be answering for yourself, when you do it, you get different results? Like, if somebody were to come to you, what would be the type of person that would come to you, like, that you could actually help? Like, what would it look like? And what would you do different than maybe if they went to a different person for weight loss? Like, what would you do different with them? And so immediately after I asked her that question, she knew. She said, well, you know what? I'm a doctor of pharmacy. Now, she never told me she was a doctor of pharmacy. And she said that she takes women's hormones. It's like an algorithm to her. She can like kind of figure it out like a Rubik's Cube, and she figures out what their algorithm is. And then she like sorts out their hormones, harmonizes their hormones, and then the weight just falls off. And she had all these stories of that. And I said, well, Amanda, your brand, your core genius is really harmonizing hormones. Like that's really what you do. I don't know why you named your business Soul Fit, but it's definitely harmonizing hormones. And then she had the opportunity to talk in front of a group of 40 women. She had 5 minutes. And so we worked together, developed what she was going to share. And in those 5 minutes, she had 28 of the 40 women come onto her email list, and she had 9 of the women want to have a conversation with her. And she ended up making $18,000 from those conversations from that 5-minute talk that she had. And I just want to share that with you because that's the power of knowing what your core genius is and knowing how to build your brand around your core genius. And a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with this because they don't have that clarity. And so the second secret to really being able to add 6 figures to your business this year, and this falls into the marketing phase, is really having a strategically designed signature talk that is going to attract your ideal clients in a classy way. And this is key because a lot of entrepreneurs, when it comes to speaking, they think that when they speak, they're going to speak about their process and share their process. And I can tell you, if you speak from that perspective, you're going to get a lot of, thank you, that was great information. You're getting a lot of compliments on your speaking. You're going to get a lot of feeling like, you're doing a good job potentially because you're getting thank yous and people are saying that was great information. But what you're going to notice is they're not going to end up becoming conversations afterwards. They're going to walk away and not grow. You're not going to see your business grow from speaking from process. And so one of the other elements that I see, because I run an organization called Engaging Speakers, and I have speakers on my platform multiple times we have like 7 different meetings that we do every month with speakers. And if you're not sharing stories, that's another really big piece of really being effective in speaking for your business is you want to share stories, because stories are where people connect and where they really get to learn. And you can teach and share really powerful concepts, and lessons can be caught. You don't have to necessarily teach straight on when you're doing a talk. You can actually teach through stories, and stories are really powerful. So those are the 2 big things I want you to take away from. There is a strategic design, there's an outline, all of that stuff that I can share with you. But the key is having and understanding their strategy design and knowing that you're going to speak from principles, not process. And when I say principles, I mean, what are the 3 to 5 things that you would, if you were going to help whatever the big result is that you bring in your business? Like, so for me, and we're talking about adding 6 figures to your business in the next year. What are the 3 keys? What are the 3 principles? What are the 3 main things that I would say, if I never got to work with you and you wanted to add 6 figures to your business this year, this month, in the next 60 minutes, like what would be the 3 things that you would have to have? These are the 3 things I'm sharing with you tonight. The first one was your core genius, really making sure that you're really leading with that, because that's what's going to build your revenue really quickly. And you have a strategically designed signature talk. And I'm going to share secret number 3 in a few minutes, but this is key. And I'm going to share with you like how powerful that is through another story, just to show you, like, stories are the other key. So Dr. Layla, she's a woman that I met. She's a Harvard graduate, ER doctor, super brilliant, but really was just at a place where she did not want to do ER traditional medicine anymore. She wanted to do functional medicine. And so she had tried to build a business, functional medicine practice. It failed. And that dream didn't die. So it had been about 3 years since she had tried. And now she was back at it. And she was about 6 months into it again. And she was starting to see all the same things that she struggled with before come up again. And she was starting to get fearful. And so she was out there speaking and trying all the different strategies to grow her practice. And she was struggling. She was making about $4,000 a month. It was in January we started working together. And I talked to her about this whole idea of like her core genius, because doctors, and then with speaking, they tend to be really, really informative. They love to share process. And she got really deep into her process. And so she would talk to people and share with others about what she did, but she would fill them up and they would be like, okay, thank you. That was great information. And they walk away and they didn't engage with her. And so we got really clear around what her core genius was. Functional medicine is a huge industry. So, but what was the things that she was passionate about? What were the things that were her core genius that she really wanted to work? And how did she speak about functional medicine in such a way that it was actually going to attract people to her and not make them feel like, oh my gosh, I feel overwhelmed, which is what she was doing a lot, was making people feel overwhelmed. so we worked on those things, and everything shifted. She got so excited. She had never had the experience of somebody actually wanting to have a conversation with her after a like at a networking event, and her sharing or, doing a talk. And that the things that she learned in the process of what she ended up doing, she made over $400,000. She went from $4,000 in January to by the end of the year, she made over $400,000. By the next year, she was right now she's making over $80,000 a month. She has $1 million practice. And she's so excited. And these principles I'm sharing with you are the very principles that she used to be able to completely shift and be able to leave the ER and really live the life that she has wanted to live, in the life of her dreams. And I know for a lot of entrepreneurs, you could be at a place where you are exceptional at what you do. But this building the entrepreneurial framework around what you do is sometimes the biggest challenge, because that is a whole nother thing to learn. And how do you talk about your business? What is your core genius? What should your brand be? How do you market and generate leads? Those are things that are not necessarily something that every entrepreneur knows how to do, right? Like, for example, Samantha, she was in the helping industry, loved, helping people with mental health issues and specifically anxiety for women. Dr. Layla, again, somebody that's in healthcare, helping profession. They haven't been taught branding and sales and how to build an entrepreneurial business, all those things. So speaking can be and is one of the most powerful ways for you to leverage your time when you're looking at really using a strategy in your business to really attract your ideal clients and highlight your expertise in a classy way. I cannot recommend speaking enough. It is really powerful. And so I just want you to think about tonight, what are the 3 ways that you could use a signature talk to create an endless supply of leads for yourself? I'm doing a signature talk tonight. You see that online, right? You could do it in person. But the wonderful thing about having this tool is that you can deconstruct it, and you can use the signature talk. You can use elements of whatever you actually end up designing in your email campaigns. You can use it on your social media. You can do lives with it. You can get so comfortable with the content and how you actually have this talk put together that it becomes part of even your organic conversations with people. So just know that having a tool like that is something that can have tremendous ROI for you and your business, because there's a lot of different ways that you can use it. So now we're going to do a quick little exercise. There's 45 numbers up on the screen, and I'm going to ask you in 20 seconds to visually scan. And the 1 is up here. I want to see how many you can get to with all these numbers all over, from 1 to 45 in 20 seconds. Ready? Go. We're at 10 seconds. Stop. Okay, so if you can put in the chat, I would love to hear what number did each of you get to. Okay, I see 16, 13, 12, 27. Okay, awesome. Number 2. Okay, great. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to share with you, there's a framework. Okay, so here's the framework. And so I'm going to show you 1 is here, 2 is here, 3 is here. Do you see the sequencing and the pattern? So we're going to do the same thing. We'll do it again in 20 seconds. Go. Ten seconds. Stop. Okay, so now, did anybody get to 45? Put the numbers in the chat. Hopefully everybody went up. Did everybody go up? Oh, somebody did get to 45. Awesome. Oh, 44, super close. Okay, great. Awesome job. Okay, so the lesson there is, it's an entrepreneur, right? You can feel like there are 1,000 different things you could be doing, right? And understanding that there is an entrepreneurial blueprint. There is a system and a way and a framework to actually build an entrepreneurial business. And that's the 3rd secret, is knowing the sequencing. You can go so much, like you demonstrated tonight with just the visual scanning. You can go so much farther when you know what that framework is, right? You can go farther and faster. And when you don't know what that framework is, as an entrepreneur, you can get really lost in the building the business part, right? You can get into doing things that really are not the things that are the best for your business. You can just be looking at other entrepreneurs, seeing the results that they're getting, and then think, okay, I'm going to do that because they're getting results, but it might not be the right fit for you, or actually the right way for you to do it in such a way that you're going to actually enjoy it, which I find a lot of that happens with, especially with social media. So I have a framework, and this is the framework that I have used to grow all the business I've grown over and over again in all the different industries. And this is the same framework that I teach entrepreneurs that I work with. And I'm going to gift each one of you this blueprint. So if you're like trying to take a picture of it, I'm going to send it all to you. So you don't have to worry about that. So you're going to get this framework. So I'm going to share this with you as a gift. So I want to share with you the power of having a framework. Mary Jo is a strategy consultant that I was introduced to, and she was somebody that was super brilliant and really wanted to develop her consulting business. And she was excellent at what she did, but she was really struggling with the entrepreneurial piece. She was great in what she knew in her knowledge base of what she did, but when it came to like generating leads and making sales, she was really struggling. And she was making like about $3,000 a month, and her goal was to make $10,000 a month. And you know that in less than 30 days, when she actually was shown the blueprint, because she was brilliant, and we went through and I taught her, like, here are the things that you need to do as an entrepreneur. Here's how you grow a business. She went from making $3,000 a month, and within less than 90 days, she made $20,000. She was making $20,000 a month. And it was all because she didn't know, no one ever showed her or taught her the entrepreneurial framework. Like, what is it that you do to be successful as an entrepreneur? And so I want to ask you, just when you think about your own business, do you know what your next step is and what you should be focusing right now as an entrepreneur? Do you have like a blueprint for your own business? Because that is one of the really key things. Like, your business could feel like all those numbers everywhere. You might be doing like 23 when really you ideally would want to be on number 5. And until you understand what that blueprint is, it's really hard to know where you are in that. It can feel very confusing. So tonight, I'm sorry, my dog is like really being aggressive. What are the 2 to 3 things that, based on what I share with you tonight, that you can take with you from this talk? I'm going to just do a quick little review. The first thing we talked about in the secrets is, number 1 is putting your passion before profits, in really understanding and knowing what your core genius is, making sure that your brand is really centered around that core genius, that even your URL, right? Like your name of your business, all of that, it would be ideally centered around that. And then secondly, you want to have strategies to generate leads. You want to feel in control of your business. You don't want to be somebody that is just waiting for somebody to give you a referral or waiting for somebody to respond to social media. And I really believe, and my experience is, if you have a signature talk, if you have a way of speaking about your business that attracts your ideal clients, that will be super, super powerful in helping you to grow your business quickly and add revenue to your business quickly. And thirdly is to really know what the proven blueprint is for your success in your business, understanding that entrepreneurial framework. So if you want that blueprint that I put up on the screen, if you'd like to have that emailed to you with all those details, I would love to gift all of that to you, because I really feel like that is such an important element to like have that clarity around as entrepreneurs. So just send a quick email to jen@jencoffel.com, and I will send you that 100K business blueprint. You'll have that PDF, and you can actually go through all of that. And then another thing I'd love to gift you is, if any of you are here tonight and you're thinking, like, I don't know what my core genius is. I do enjoy speaking and would love to learn how to do speaking to grow my business, but I don't have a signature talk. Or you're somebody that, really would like some more help, like really understanding, like, what is your next step? Like, if you don't know what your next step is in your business, I would love to have the opportunity to also talk with you about that. And so if you want to send me an email and just put in the subject line, you'd like a 100K breakthrough session. If you do that, what I'll do is I'll send you the blueprint as well, but I also will send you a questionnaire, a link for a questionnaire. And you just fill that questionnaire out just so I can understand more about you and your business. And then when I get that questionnaire back, I'll send you some of my next available times that we can meet and be able to talk through some of those challenges and things that you're dealing with in your business, and see if I can be able to help you. And in closing, I would love to share with you one of my favorite quotes. It's a quote by Mark Twain. And this is, the 2 most important days in your life are the day that you were born and the day that you will find out why. And I know for most of us, we are entrepreneurs and doing what we love because this is our passion. But I just really want to encourage you and build your belief that when you are speaking and talking about your business from a place of your core genius and you really know what your next steps are, your experience in growing your entrepreneurial business can be extremely rewarding and very profitable.
Ooh, give that woman a hand. Or two.
Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, we've got a little bit of time. Actually, no, we're going to go into a round of networking, and then Jen, you're able to stay a little bit after we wrap up. Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, and then we can have some questions. So, Michelle, are we all ready to send people into another round of networking? So the questions. Hang on one second. I'm going to share away.